LCID is a Spanish historical action drama streaming television series about Rodrigo Díaz de Vivar LCID, the 11th century Castilian knight and warlord. Created by José Velasco and Luis Arons for Amazon Prime Video, the series stars Jaime Lorente alongside José Luis García Pérez, Elia Galera, Carlos Spartam, Alicia Sanz, and Jamie Olias, among others. The 5-episode first season was released on Prime Video on December 18, 2020, and the 5-episode second season was released on July 15, 2021. Early life. Carlos Alcaraz García was born on May 5, 2003, in El Palmar, Murcia, Spain to parents Carlos Alcaraz González and Virginia García Escandón. He has 3 siblings. He started playing tennis at the Real Sociedad Club de Campo de Murcia, where his father was the tennis academy director. In 2018, he began playing at Juan Carlos Ferrero's Escuelite J.C. Ferrero Sport Academy. Professional career. 2020, ATP debut. In February 2020, at the age of 16, Alcaraz made his ATP main draw debut at the Rio Open after receiving a wild card for the singles main draw. There, he defeated Albert Ramos Vinolas. Alcaraz was ultimately defeated in the second round by Federico Coria. 2021, first title, Next Gen Champion, Top 35. At age 17, Alcaraz qualified for the main draw of the Australian Open, making him the youngest participant in the men's singles. He won his Grand Slam debut defeating fellow qualifier Botic van de Zandschulp in straight sets before losing in the second round to Mikael Ymer. Alcaraz became the youngest match winner in the Madrid Open's history, defeating Adrian Mannarino as a wild card and breaking then 18-year-old Rafael Nadal's record from 2004. In the second round, he lost to 5-time champion Nadal on Alcaraz's 18th birthday. By winning the biggest title of his career until then at the 2021 Open de Eiras 3 Challenger Tournament, he entered the top 100 as the youngest player at the age of 18 on May 24, 2021. At the French Open, Alcaraz reached the third round of a Grand Slam for the first time in his career by defeating Nicolas Basilashvili. In July 2021, he reached his first ATP final at the 2021 Croatia Open Umag, defeating top seed Albert Ramos Vinolas. He then won his maiden ATP title by defeating Richard Gasquet and becoming the youngest tour-level champion since 18-year-old Kei Nishikori won the Delray Beach Open in 2008. Alcaraz was the youngest Spaniard to win an ATP Tour title since Nadal claimed his first trophy in Sopot in 2004. At Wimbledon, he lost in the second round to Daniil Medvedev. At the Winston-Salem Open, Alcaraz reached the round of 16 defeating qualifier Alexei Popyrin, and his second tour-level quarter-final of the season defeating 4th seed Martin Fucsovics. He defeated Marcos Giron to reach the semi-finals, where he lost to Mikael Ymer. At the US Open, Alcaraz defeated world number 3 Stefanos Tsitsipas in a 5th-set tiebreak to reach the 4th round in the biggest win of his career. At 18 years of age, Alcaraz became the youngest man in a Grand Slam 4th round since 17-year-old Andrei Medvedev at the 1992 French Open, and the youngest man in the US Open 4th round since 17-year-old Michael Chang and 18-year-old Pete Sampras in 1989. He then reached the quarterfinals by defeating qualifier Peter Gohauchik. Alcaraz became the youngest US Open men's quarterfinalist in the Open era, the youngest at the tournament since 18-year-old Thomas Cook in 1963, and the youngest Grand Slam men's singles quarterfinalist since 18-year-old Michael Chang at the 1990 French Open. He then lost to Felix Auger-Aliassime via retirement in the second set in the quarterfinals after injuring his leg. At the Erste Bank Open, Alcaraz defeated world number 7 Matteo Berrettini, marking his second win over a top 10 player. As a result, he made his debut as the youngest player in the top 35 on November 1. During his Paris Masters run, Alcaraz defeated French wildcard Pierre-Hugues Herbert in 3 thrilling sets in the first round. He then defeated Jannik Sinner in straight sets in the second round, marking his third win over a top 10 player. In the third round, he was defeated by Hugo Gaston in straight sets. At the next Gen ATP Finals, Alcaraz defeated Brandon Nakashima, Juan Manuel Cerundolo, and Holger Rune in the round-robin stage. He advanced to the semi-finals undefeated, where he defeated Sebastian Baez. He then advanced to the final, where he defeated Sebastian Corda to win the championship. 2022, US Open champion and world number 1. Seeded for the first time in a Grand Slam at number 31, Alcaraz reached the third round of the Australian Open before losing in 5 sets to Matteo Berrettini. Seeded 7th at the Rio Open, Alcaraz won his first ATP 500 title defeating Diego Schwartzman in the final. As a result, he made his debut into the top 20 in the singles rankings on February 21, 2022. In Indian Wells, Alcaraz reached his first Masters 1000 quarter-final and semi-final, defeating the defending champion Cameron Norrie before losing to Rafael Nadal. Seeded 14th at the Miami Open, Alcaraz defeated 6th seed Casper Ruud to win his first Masters 1000 title. He became the youngest men's champion in the tournament's history. At the Monte Carlo Masters, Alcaraz lost in the second round to Sebastian Corda. At the Barcelona Open, Alcaraz defeated top seed Stefanos Tsitsipas in the quarterfinals to enter the top 10 in rankings for the first time on April 25. He became the 20th teen to break into top 10 overall since rankings were established in 1973, and the youngest since Rafael Nadal also on April 25, 2005. Alcaraz later defeated Pablo Carreño Busta to win the title. A day after his 19th birthday at the Madrid Open, he defeated 5-time Madrid champion, world number 4 and 3rd seed Rafael Nadal in the quarterfinals to become the first teenager to defeat him on clay. The following day, he went on to beat the world number 1 and top seed Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals for his 6th straight top 10 win, and became the youngest player to win a match against a world number 1 since 2004. He also became the first player to ever beat Djokovic and Nadal back-to-back on clay. In the final, he went on to win his 4th title for the season, defeating defending champion and world number 3 Alexander Zverev, thereby defeating the top 3 seeds in 3 consecutive matches. He also became the youngest champion in tournament history. As a result, he climbed to a career high of world number 6 in the rankings on May 9, 2022. Following his withdrawal from the Italian Open due to an ankle injury, Alcaraz made his seeded debut at the French Open as number 6. Having won 2 of the tour's biggest titles on clay coming into the Slam, he was widely projected to be one of the favorites for the title. He defeated Juan Ignacio Lundro in straight sets before saving a match point in a second-round 5-setter against Albert Ramos Vinolas. He then defeated Corda and Karen Khachanov in straight sets before losing to Zverev, in the second Grand Slam quarter-final of his career. At Wimbledon, Alcaraz beat Jan-Lennard Struff in a close 5-set match before defeating Talon Griekspoor and Oscar Otta in straight sets, reaching the round of 16 for the first time at this major. He lost to Jannik Sinner in the 4th round. At the Hamburg Open, he reached the final, resulting in a new career high of world number 5 on July 25, 2022. Alcaraz became the youngest player to enter the top 5 in rankings since Nadal in 2005. He was defeated in the final by Lorenzo Musetti, resulting in the first loss in a tournament final of his career. At the Croatia Open, he reached his 2nd consecutive final, resulting in another ranking jump to world number 4 on 1 August. Alcaraz entered the 2022 US Open as the number 3 seed. He defeated Sebastian Baez, Federico Coria, and Jenson Brooksby without dropping a set to reach the 4th round. Next he defeated 15th seed Marin Cilic in 5 sets, becoming the youngest man to reach back-to-back quarterfinals at this major in the Open era. In his quarterfinal match he defeated Jannik Sinner. The match set the record as the latest finish and second longest match in US Open history. He defeated Francis Tiafoe in the semi-finals for his third consecutive 5-set match victory. He defeated 5th seed Casper Ruud in the final, where both players were in contention for the world number 1 ranking, to win the title. Alcaraz became the youngest number 1 in the history of the ATP rankings at the age of 19 years, 4 months, and 6 days, breaking Lleyton Hewitt's record. He also became the first teenager in the Open era to top the men's rankings and the youngest men's US Open champion since Pete Sampras in 1990. After a first-round loss at the 2022 Astana Open to David Goffin on his fall season comeback, he won a tight opening match against Jack Draper at the 2022 Swiss Indoors in Basel. Endorsements. Alcaraz is sponsored by Nike for clothing and shoes, and by Babolat for rackets, using the Babolat Pure Aero VS racket. In January 2022, he became a brand ambassador for Rolex. He is also a brand ambassador for dermocosmetics company Isten, Spanish food company El Pozo, and German automobile manufacturer BMW under their BMW Spain division. Playing style. Alcaraz is an all-court, all-round tennis player, but primarily employs an aggressive baseline style of play, with an emphasis on a high winner count from his forehand, typically his most reliable and potent shot. He can either hit his forehand flat and fast for winners from every court position, or add a great amount of topspin and margin over the net. He also possesses a well-rounded and more flat and lower net clearance backhand ground stroke that he is able to redirect down the line for clean winners. His greatly disguised drop shot is key to his game, as he often combines the heaviness of his ground strokes that pushes his opponents back into the court into a defensive position, with a drop shot that is often too well placed and disguised to deal with. He has an impressive net game with great drop volleys and drive volleys, and frequently serve and volleys on crucial points. His first serve is hit at high speeds with little emphasis on service box placement, typically at around 210 km per hour. This has led to some criticism of his serving. However, he has an excellent and reliable second serve with which he can add topspin to get a high bounce off the court and either push back or get a weak return from closer returning opponents, and this serve typically reaches 150 to 170 km per hour. Alcaraz has earned acclaim for his remarkable athletic and physical traits. In particular, his direct sprints, counter-attacking abilities from often indefensible positions on court, and an extremely high peak foot speed which has earned him comparisons to a young Rafael Nadal and Gael Monfils. He has earned comparisons to Novak Djokovic for his assured lateral movement and court coverage aided by physical splits and sliding through the court on defense, particularly on his backhand side where he is often able to neutralize his opponent's ground stroke aggression or drop shot attempts. He has also earned comparisons, on occasion, to Roger Federer for his great footwork and ability to go inside out on his forehand and control the court with his offense. Career statistics. Grand Slam tournament performance timeline. Current through the 2022 US Open. Grand Slam finals. Singles, 1. Records. All-time records. Open era records.